Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby, and today we're talking about the biggest mistakes made when trying to live in the end, which is a huge Neville Goddard concept. Now, if you're new to this channel and you want more videos like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That bell is going to make it so you won't miss any new videos. So, what is this biggest mistake made that happens when people try to live in the end? The first thing I want to make sure is that everyone knows what is his teaching. What is Neville saying when he's talking about living in the end? It is simple when you think, okay, you're going to literally live like you're at the end, but it is not an easy concept for us to really wrap our heads around because we are creatures of habit. So what Neville teaches us is that whatever it is right now, whether you want a new career, whether you want a new relationship, or whether you want a change in your financial situation, you need to use your imagination and sculpt what it is. What does it look like to have that completed? And when you understand that, you're going to basically radiate that version of you, who you will be in that version. And rather than wait through time, rather than wait for external forces, external situations to change so that you can then be that you're going to go straight to the end. You're going to be that version of you right now, no matter if you don't know anybody or not dating anybody, no matter if you don't have the money, and no matter what your career looks like right now. He says to ignore your senses and to live in the end right now. So what happens, even though this is a simple concept, what mistakes are people making? They're not understanding that what is going to change from the version of you now to the end version is essentially self-concept, the concept you have of yourself, your self-image, who it is in your psyche that you are giving yourself permission to be, or that you're telling yourself you need to act like, talk like, and be in that realm. And also that's going to come with a list of assumptions. So somebody who goes out into the world and can't catch a break, they're going to have a list of assumptions such as the world's out to get them, no opportunities ever come to them, or good stuff just doesn't happen to people like you. Those are all assumptions. Those are all how you're looking into the world, and what you look for, you will find. Even in your brain, you have something called your RAS, your reticular activating system. This is a filtration system that essentially blinds your eyes, because you never see with your eyes, you see with your brain, and what perceptions your brain is allowing you to have in the world. So much information that's happening right now, and what your RAS does is allow only a certain amount of those things to come in so you can process them. If your RAS wasn't there, if you started clicking all the different applications on it, it would get overwhelmed and it would just buffer, so it wouldn't even be able to run a program. And that's what's happening in your brain. Your RAS is saying, okay, well, there's way too much information. I need to filter out what's not important so that I can actually function. So it will block out opportunities for you. If you have a self-concept, which is going to come with a list of assumptions such as good things don't happen to me, you literally will block out with your brain things that will contradict that, because you have constructed your self-concept as a safe space. So if when you're thinking about living in the end, if that contradicts that current self-concept of you, it is going to be seen as unsafe. Your amygdala in your brain will actually sound off the alarm system of, whoa, this is dangerous, this is unfamiliar. And that's the biggest thing. It's a perception. You perceive that unknown to be filled with danger. What you want to happen in your life, that dream life, it's unfamiliar. You haven't lived it yet. It's not dangerous. You just are not familiar with it. But if you're not careful, that can get scrapped as an avoidance for you to get away, or you can start self-sabotaging because your body, your brain is trying to protect you. And you need to understand that until you shift that self-concept, until you hand over that old version of you, those old lists of assumptions, and start taking on the new ones and living in the end with that new self-concept and those new list of assumptions, you will always go back to the old one. We're starting to get into the root of what goes wrong. People go out and you can spend a couple minutes in the day. In my past videos, I've talked about the two most powerful times to change your self-concept are in the morning time and at night. That has to do with your brain waves. They're slower as you're waking up because they've been very low and slow, and then now they're going to get faster as you start going throughout your day, and then at night they're going to start lowering again. Those lower brain waves, specifically theta brainwave, is a gateway to communicate with your subconscious. So if you're wanting to change these unconscious beliefs, those are great times to start planting seeds. Now, if you're only spending those few amount of moments planting the seeds, that's a great start. However, it is only a start. You're planting seeds. What you also need to do, if we were out there farmers, I know nothing about farming, but what I do know is you need good soil. So if you had weeds growing there and you had rocks all over, you'd need to remove those so that those seeds could have the maximum potential to grow and be nourished and be as strong as possible. And what that looks like is basically when you're going throughout your day, not shifting into the old pattern. So you wake up, you plant the seeds for the new self potential, you're gonna live in the end, and then you spill your coffee. And you're like, oh, bad things always happen to me. Maybe you're going throughout your day and you run over a nail and you pull over and you're like, great, now I need a new tire. I can never afford my life. And you can start to see how these are all old concepts, and this is where people go wrong. They go and they can spend a small amount of their time living in the end when it's convenient. In the very heated moments when your senses are saying, hey, remember your self-concept, remember those emotions that I need to feel so that I feel like I am in routine. So your brain thinks a thought, so your body can feel a chemical. And that is how you know life to be. And you're out of your routine, your body's going to start signaling alarms. Your body's going to start seeing things in the world. So you will go into the old self-concept. What you need to do is, just like Neville Goddard said, ignore your senses. Focus. Write it on your hand. Write it in a post-it note above where you brush your teeth, or in your car, or in your notebook, whatever it is, by your computer. Whatever you need to do to consistently remind yourself to live in the end so that you don't get tempted to move back into that old self-concept, those old thought structures. As long as you are holding on to the old thought structures and living right now in that reality that you don't desire, you will lose sight and lose connection of you being that version of you in the end. So you're not living in the end. You see the end, you feel it for a moment, and you disconnect and you're back here. So every time your brain thinks a thought, your body releases a chemical. Those two combinations, the electrical part is going to come from your thoughts, and the magnetic part is going to come from your heart as feeling. So you're sending out an electromagnetic signature unique to what you're thinking and what you're feeling. That's essentially an order form to the universe. So in those examples earlier of, you spilled your coffee, bad things always happen to you. Universe is a giant mirror. You think those thoughts and it sends, just like water. You throw a rock in it, you see the ripples are vibrating out, and it's going to hit the quantum field. And that is essentially how you select your realities, how you select your possibilities of the infinite use that you can experience, and then it's going to come back to you. So you have to be mindful of every thought you're thinking. You have to bring awareness into how you're feeling and bring that every single time. Maybe you'll catch yourself of like, oh wow, I really just started going down a rabbit hole of worry, or I started going down a rabbit hole of all the bad things that happened to me. Bring yourself into awareness and go right back into living in the end. The biggest mistake that people make is not staying in the end. They are not living in the end. They're glimpsing the end. They have small moments, and that is a great start. Like I said, feeling it for the first time and starting to build that is critical. It is also critical to maintain that. And even if you start in the morning and then in midday you are aware that you've lost that and you went unconscious, you bring it back. You can have anchor points. Maybe you put something in your phone as a reminder to live in the end. What reality are you wanting to experience? The more and more that living in the end becomes natural, you remove that resistance that it's not who you are. As your self-concept changes, as your self-image changes, so does your list of assumptions about how the world works. So does your thoughts throughout the day. As you see there is a different choice, then you can feel a different way. You can live and have a different end. The best part is you can have that right now. The only thing standing in the way of you feeling the way you want to in the end and right now is your permission. You can grant your permission to feel that right now. What would it be like to have that dream job? What would it be like to have that secure relationship? What would it be like to have that financial security? Feel that now and start bringing that awareness, feeling that gratitude, which Dr. Joe Dispenza says is the greatest state of receivership. Bring that reality to you and start drawing it in. Start anchoring your day so that your whole entire state stays the same level of being. That you who you want to be in the end, bring it to your now. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit like. It really helps to spread this information and support this channel. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.